Today's video is going to knock your socks off. Check out our secret sliding message card. You see how that just tucks in there? Friends, this card is so much fun. Look at this. Even have one for the guys because I know we struggle with those guy cards. I'm excited to teach you how to create these amazing secret sliding message cards. Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com, and today's Tuesday tip video is how to create the most amazing secret sliding message card. Guys, these are really easy and fun. I'm excited to share them with you. So if it's all right with you, I say we jump in and get started. Real quick, before we get into the cards themselves, I do want to let you know that there's a free download that goes along with my video today. So I don't want you to have to worry about writing down any measurements. I have everything for you right here. You'll have a complete supply list, measurements, cutting, scoring, all that good stuff, photos, of course, and a QR code or a link that you can click to come back and watch the video again. Let's get started. We are going to create this Get Well card. Yep, it's that season, isn't it? All the sniffles and all the good stuff here for you always. Friends, I know it looks like it's going to be a complicated card, but I'm going to make it so easy for you. Let's start with the card base. I'll be using Lost Lagoon. Now, these measurements are a little bit different. So it is 8.5 inches by 5.25. All right. So typically it's usually an 8.5 by 5.5, 8.5 by 5.25. We're going to do a little scoring. So I've got the 8.5 up here at the top. I am going to score this at 2 3/4 and 6 3/4. You'll use your bone folder to really burnish those. Now, we're going to adhere this to a nice backing, and that is in Pretty Peacock. So it's really going to make that Lost Lagoon pop. This is a 4 1/4 by 5.5. We'll adhere our card base right there in the middle. Let's do a couple quick layers here. On the front, I have a piece of Pretty Peacock. This is going to adhere right here on this front panel. Now, on the inside, we're going to use a little designer series paper. So with your card fully open, I'm using Everyday Happiness. I thought this beautiful little plaid was just perfect for a little get well. That is a 2 5/8 by 5 1/8. Now I have another piece, and we're going to fold this one down. Okay. This is going to create that little secret pocket. And I've got another piece, a 1 5/8 by 5 1/8. All right. That's on the inside. Now we're ready to set this aside so we can do some stamping. My stamp set is a brand new online exclusive that just started in November, and this is Friendly Foliage. And we're going to use this stamp right here, and I've got some tips to create just a really fun little image using your sponge daubers. I'll be using Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock. I'm going to start here with the Lost Lagoon and that great big stamp. So I'm going to go ahead and ink that up in Lost Lagoon. Now I'm going to bring in some Pretty Peacock and my sponge dauber. And this is really fun. I'm just going to ink it up, just a little bit of the Pretty Peacock, and just on the leaves, I'm just going to tap a few little spots. Okay. You know, I'm not adding a ton. I'm just going to add a little detail to my stamp. We will stamp this right here on a piece of basic white. This is a 2 3/8 by 4 7/8. Lots of 8s today, guys. Lots of 8s, because I really wanted a nice little narrow mat around it. So you can kind of see we got a little Lost Lagoon and a little Pretty Peacock. And now my greeting for the front, a simple yet very elegant get well soon. We're going to adhere that to the front of our card. Now we can work on that little secret slider. I have a piece of Pretty Peacock. This is a 4 1/4 by 3 3/4. I've got the 3 3/4 up at the top, and we're going to do a little score at 3/8 of an inch. 3/8 of an inch is in between a 1/4 inch and a 1/2 inch. And we're going to give ourselves a quick little score. I'll give that a good burnish with my bone folder. I'm now going to do a little stamping here on my other piece of basic white, and this is a 4 1/8 by 3 1/4. So let's start with the pretty peacock, and I'm going to stamp my greeting. And when you do this, you have to remember not all of this is going to show. So I'm going to stamp my sentiment here in the upper left corner, here for you always. So I'm ready to stamp the leaves on here, and I need to let you know that about 1 inch of this, the right side on about 1 inch, is not going to show. So I'm going to stamp this long leaf, and I'm going to give myself a little room. So I'm not quite in the center. I'm a little off to the right. And now we're going to bring in this smaller leaf image, and we're going to do that one in the Lost Lagoon. And we'll just line those up. Again, it just gives just a really nice two-tone to my leaves. I'm going to adhere that onto my slider, and you're going to want to have that 3/8 inch section. It needs to be to the left. That's going to adhere to the left side of the card. So we'll add this right there. Now, I will tell you, for this project, I really prefer to use tear and tape. Multi-purpose glue would work as well, but I really just kind of like, for this one, I thought the tear and tape worked great. So I'm going to place some tear and tape on this 3/8 inch section here. And while I've got it out, I'm going to tear myself a couple pieces here to put down the sides of this little flap, okay? This one right here. And we don't need a lot, but we do want to make sure that it seals down really, really well, because we don't want the magic to be exposed, right? Okay, let me show you how to put this together. I'm going to remove the backing. So to adhere this inside the card, I'm going to center it up from left to right. And there's my score line. All right. So I can kind of see I'm right up against the score line. Make sure you have this open, because the tear and tape is going to stick to that designer series paper. All right. Centered from left to right. And I'll give that a press. Okay. It should look something like that. I'm going to fold this down. I'm going to remove the tear and tape here on the sides. Like I said, if you were using multi-purpose glue, that would be fine. Just make sure you're staying really close to that edge, because we don't want it to go beyond here and here. And there is our card. Okay, you see how it just kind of slides in and out. Needed a little something something, so I brought in my brass brushed butterflies. I just think these are so pretty, and it gives just that nice little touch of bling. So let's see, I'll add a large one there. Let's do a couple small ones. We'll add a couple right there. And look at that. What a beautiful get well card. I love it. I love these colors, that Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, I have another card to share with you, and this one is for the guys. Before I jump into my second card, I do want to give you a quick reminder to grab your free download that goes along with the video today. So when you're ready to create these amazing cards, everything you need will be right here. Friends, you're going to find that free download at simplysimplestamping.com. Look for the November 11th, 2025 blog post. My card base is exactly the same. Remember, that was 8.5 by 5 1/4. I did scoring at 2 3/4 and 6 3/4. And I've done that in crumb cake. I've got a piece of early espresso, 4 1/4 by 5.5. And we'll adhere our card base. I've got another piece of early espresso, 2.5 inches by 5. And now we'll add our designer series paper. And for this one, I chose the woven textures paper. Remember, this is for the inside of the card. So my first piece, it's just going to be a nice, tight little mat. And this is 5 1/8 by 2 5/8. I've got another, and this is a 1 5/8 by 5 1/8. And that is going to give just, it's going to complement very, very nicely. All right, time to do some stamping. And once again, I have a trick. So this time I'm going to use the Prairie Grass stamp set. The fonts in this set, guys, they're phenomenal. We're going to use this stamp right here along with an Old Olive and Early Espresso ink pad. So let's start with the Old Olive. So I will ink that up in the Old Olive. And remember that trick I just shared with you? I'm going to do it again, only this time with Early Espresso and a sponge dauber. And so I don't want the little cattails here to be green. I want them to be brown. So I will make sure I'm just dabbing ink on. And then I thought the bottom just needed just a little bit. Okay. I don't know. I just thought it looked really nice. We're going to stamp this on our Very Vanilla. This is the 2 3/8 by 4 7/8. See, I think it looks so much better that way. So let's add our greeting, and we'll do that in Early Espresso, sending the healing power of love. Remember, this is a thin stamp, so use a light touch when you ink it and when you stamp it. And now we can add that to the front of our card. Let's create our slider. And friends, that one is exactly the same as it was before. So it is a 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. I've scored the side at 3/8 of an inch. We're going to stamp now on the slider. So an Early Espresso, you're not alone, I'm here for you. And let's go ahead. Now we do need to clean this stamp before we get it back on our ink pad. That's important because we had that Early Espresso ink on there. We don't want to get that in our Old Olive. All right. So inking it back up in Old Olive. I'm going to be honest, this bottom part, I didn't even have to mess with it because we're really only going to get from this bottom leaf up. So let's come in and we're going to go ahead and add that Early Espresso here. And remember what I talked about before. It's not quite in the center. It's over just a touch. And we don't want to take up too much space because we'll be writing our message here. And you know, it happens. I hit the edge. We're going to flip that over. We're going to do it again. I love that we can easily flip Stampin' Up! Paper over. It's just one of the great things about the quality of that paper. That looks so much better. I will restamp my sentiment on the inside. We're ready to add our slider. All right, I've added that. I'm going to put my tear and tape once again on the slider, and then we'll add a couple little pieces right here to the crumb cake. All right, I've removed the backings from all the tear and tape, and we're going to center that up from side to side. There is my seam. We will press that down. That's going to create the slider. We want that down flat, and then we can press this, and yep, just like that, we've got our secret sliding message. Let's add something a little gold and shiny to this one too. Let's add these tiny bee trinkets. I think they were just a really nice size to work with. So I'm going to grab a mini glue dot. I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool because I need to make this teeny tiny. All right, I need to kind of get it sort of rolled up into a little ball there. I'm going to add that to my card. I will take one of my tiny little bees. In fact, I'm going to use the little gummy side here to help me pick that up. Let's repeat that. We'll add one more. And there you go. So it's just really, it's a nice subtle card for the men. I love that we can send them a get well wish as well. And guys, these cards, I know they are just going to bring so much joy to your friends and a little bit of magic as well. So when you're ready to send that get well message, I want you to keep in mind the secret sliding message cards. Now, you know, these cards can be used for any occasion, but you know, when someone's feeling a little under the weather, I think these cards really will hit the spot. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hey, if you liked that video, I would love a thumbs up on YouTube. Thank you so much for that. And if you haven't subscribed, why not click that subscribe button there on YouTube? And if you ring the bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I'm back with a new video. I share twice a week here on the channel. I'd love to have you join. Hey, speaking of join, you might want to click that little join button right next to the subscribe button. That will give you all the information about my YouTube membership. Friends, we have a lot going on that membership. So if you like diagrams to go along with your fancy folds, if you love tutorials, if you love having some crafting time one-on-one where we create nice and slow, this is the site for you. If you'll click the join button, you'll learn all about it. Hey, it's a great time, and we'd love to have you be a part of that. Well, my friends, that's all for me. Thank you for joining me for today's Tuesday tip video, and I look forward to stamping with you next time. Bye-bye.